Agro-Digital PH is a digital value chain solution harnessing the power of social organization and virtual aggregation to enable sustainable businesses for local farmer cooperatives and associations. Henry Sison is founder and chief farming officer at Agro-Digital PH. So hello Henry, we're very happy to have you dito sa Startup Podcast PH.
Thank you for having me, Johnny, and to our listeners. Good day to you all. It's a pleasure to actually catch up with you guys, and I'd be happy to share my experiences. In this space.
Actually, we're very interested. We actually invite startups, especially in this podcast, na parang meron nation building aspect, parang solving really crucial problems, really critical problems of the Philippines. And actually, the problem that Agro-Digital PH is trying to solve is very central and very critical sa Pilipinas, ang agricultural sector natin. But let's start with the first question, Henry. So, ano nga ba ang Agro-Digital PH?
So, Agro-Digital PH, isa siyang a digital platform working with farmers and fishers, no? So, ating mga magsasaka at mangingisda. And we aim to consolidate or treat them as clusters. Kasi kalimitan, when you talk about farmers and fishers, it's usually individual. And we feel that this is not the way to solve the problem. It has to be via groups of like-minded individuals na gusto nilang baguhin the way that they actually do business. So for us, we start off working with communities. We're really grassroots in this case. Teach them how to run their trade as a business before we digitize them, into something that's more efficient. So it's a long process, I would say. But we feel that this is the way to go. I mean, I don't think there are any shortcuts if you want to improve this sector.
Yeah, but of course, it's a very, very long way. Pero one word actually hit me. I mean, clusters. It's true, no, na ang ating mga smallholder farmers, usually they're individuals or families, usually nga, pinapasa-pasa yung lupa, ganyan, di ba? Or minsan, hinahati-hati pa yung lupa, so nahihiwalay yung mga farms. Pero, it's true na maaring merong, kumbaga, benefits sa clustering or parang sa organization kasi malalaman ng mga farmers, ano ba yung tatanim nung iba, anong presyo, di ba? Maybe something like that. Maybe you can expound on this later on. Pero, and baka din, hindi rin maganda kung like isang buong organization ang buong Pilipinas or something. So, maybe clusters, parang somewhere in between sa individual tsaka sa nation. And digitalization kasi that's the way to connect people, farmers. Pero, let's go muna sa problema. Ayun, yun yung parang very important dito. Startups naman, usually we start with the problem that we want to solve before we have a solution. So ano nga ba yung parang na-determine nyo or at least yung tinatry nyo talagang root problem about the farming economy, about the agricultural economy in the Philippines? So can you go to the problem first?
Sige. Yeah, so ako baka abutan tayo ng siyam-siyam. So dissecting the problem. But we look at the problem in two lenses. No? So the first lens, and this is actually reflective of our client base as well. No? So yung first client base namin are really the farmers and fishers, which are our producers. No? So when you talk about producers, you usually think about how they produce their goods. No? It's quite interesting na yung farmers and fishers natin hindi siya makapagpresyo ng tama in terms of their goods because it's determined by a market. Right?
Yeah.
But there is no perfect market in the Philippines, di ba?
Yeah.
Ang nagpe-presyo dyan, market, which we know to be a few individuals who say, we feel kulang ang supply, so kailangan ko itaas. We feel tonelada ang darating, di ba? And
actually, we call that inefficient market, pag kumbaga mabagal
diba?
yung pagkuha ng tamang price between the buyers and the sellers, kumbaga the supply and the demand. If it's perfect,
demand.
it's efficient. Yeah.
You have an efficient market, but the problem with us, it's so fragmented, diba? So for farmers, sa kanila, trabaho sila ng trabaho, and all of our interventions of both government, private sectors has been to teach them how to produce, but they don't exactly teach them how they can sell. Yeah. So for Agro-Digital, we want to ensure that one, we work with farmers really who are really producers. And get them as clusters. Kasi kung bawa, meron akong requirement for an institutional buyer, and that's the other market natin. If they require, let's say, 1 ton of squash every week, hindi yun kakayanin ng isang farmer. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. So that's the reason why you need to have like-minded farmers within a cluster or within a geographic area. Na parang, sige, we will cluster in terms of, sige, producing the squash that is needed. Diba? It can be across cooperatives din. Diba? Kasi kung sobrang laki ng demand, hindi kakayanin ng isang co-op or isang association. Diba? And there has to be, they have to agree that they will work together. Diba? I mean, the market is so large. Walang scarcity ng demand. In fact, ang demand at saka supply, hindi nagkikita. Diba?
Yes.
And which is actually our second market. No? So for our market, we're a B2B platform. So when it's a B2B platform, really ang tinitira talaga namin, we really hunt for institutions that require consistent demand of goods, no, of produce. And they're willing to contract it. Ibig sabihin, sigurado ako gagamitin ko yung 2 tons of squash every week eh. 'Di ba? I'm okay, 'di ba? Ang ayoko yung nagfa-fluctuate ng prices. Again, namimili kami ng client kasi yung iba gusto ng lowest price every time. So for us, kahit na below cost, example, ang kamatis bumagsak ng 5-7 pesos recently. If a client wants to buy at 5 and 7 pesos, we said, okay, I mean, you just go to the market. Hindi kami lalapit sa kanila kasi hindi mo matuturo sa kanila yung value ng work and dignity ng farmer. 'Di ba? Hindi mo pwedeng tawaran 'yan eh, 'di ba? So at the very least, you buy at least a few percentage points off break even. So halimbawa sa amin, when the farmer actually produces tomatoes, we'll say, based on our calculations, the break even price is at 18 pesos. So ang best price, at the very least, we need to buy that at least 23 or 25 pesos. Kasi kailangan mo bigyan siya ng kailangan mo siya bigyan ng margin para makapagtanim siya the following season. And our customers actually know about this. No, that when we talk to them, this is how you are helping communities, diba? And it's not all. Hindi ganun lahat mag-isip ng mga consumers. Pero sa mga nakakaintindi, they're willing to go and contract things out, diba? Or at least they say, oh sige, I can't go on fixed, but I agree to have a band of pricing na ito na yung floor natin, which is still may kita pa rin ng farmer. So it's really that, no, and trying to get consumers to have the supply, whereas yung producers to get the dignity of work and the right price.
Yeah, actually, in what I understand, parang it boils down sa connection or sa disconnect yung problem, kumbaga, ng supply and demand. Kasi for example, when I'm a farmer, usually nga, hindi ko naman alam kung ano ang demand, kung ano ba yung gustong bilhin ng mga tao. So I will just produce what I can produce, or maybe mga ngopi lang ako sa kapitbahay ko, or kung ano ba yung parang uso. And then baka too late na pala, kasi matagal ang farming cycle baka pag nanggaya ako, too late na. And doon naman sa, kumbaga, sa buyer's side, sobrang ganda actually nung parang when someone needs a squash, I mean hindi lang naman tingi, 'di ba? I mean maramihan 'yan eh. Meron agad na supplier para ma-fulfill 'yun. And after nun, kumbaga pag na-connect yung supply and demand, tsaka susunod yung tamang market pricing na beneficial sa farmer, kumbaga yun may profit margin, may kita, and then tama din yung price, kumbaga
exactly
mura, maybe lower price for the buyers. I think that's very good. I think that's a very good kumbaga dito, parang pag dissect ng problem and pag-provide ng inyong solution. And punta tayo sa inyong solution So yes, how really do you solve this? I mean, what's function sa platform na kumbaga? I mean, I know na we're continuously building this as a startup, pero like right now, what do you parang provide for the market?
Okay. So Agro-Digital is really more of it is a digital platform first and foremost. That is a support platform for our farmers and for our consumers. So the way we look at the market, we don't see the platform as the end all. Support lang siya. If a farmer or a fisher does not know how to run the business or the trade as a business, the business will still fail. Diba? Ang nangyayari lang, Agro-Digital provides the connections, provides the analytics, provides the data points, diba? To make the market more efficient, no? Supporting role kami dito. Ang stars talaga namin are really the farmers and fishers who produce for us, diba? At nakikinig sa data. Kasi merong iba, they still, well, this is how we do our business. Ay, hindi sila makikinig, diba? Pero sa makikinig, it's good that they actually have benefited actually from knowing the data points, holding institutional buyers actually from their roster of customers, diba? And for consumers naman, it's understanding where to actually properly supply or get their supply for one, they also become in touch with seasonalities, di ba? So sometimes, let's say for example, a restaurant, they insist on products that are out of season. Obviously,
Yeah.
tapos magreklamo sila pag masyadong mahal, di ba?
Actually,
So yung di ba? But the idea is we also help them out. Oh, ito yung in season, ito yung maraming supply, ito yung mura, or at least ito yung affordable, di ba? Adjust natin yung menu natin to to meet that to meet what is the seasonality of produce. And for some of our customers who are really attuned to this, nakakaano sila tag dito, they can price efficiently for the restaurants and then they actually increase yung sales nila in turn. No? So I mean, it's quite a very complex problem, but in our little way, I would say, at least for the communities who hear us out and our customers who patronize these communities, ano naman, for the past 3-4 years, they've forged a very close relationship.
And just to give some context, when you say institutional buyers, kumbaga yung mga bumibili ng produce ng farmers, who are these? I mean, are these restaurants? Are these, who are these?
Ayan, sige. So unlike other agri-techs kasi, we do have our wholesale market, and we work with distributors for retail naman, for largely fruits and vegetables. So, and these are like the palengkes and supermarkets and bagsakan. So we have that vertical.
Yeah, actually,
Diba? But having said that, volatile yan, and it's a very cutthroat market. Masikip yan. Maraming nag-ano sa bagsakan and supermarkets. So for us, we've actually ventured into one, which is another obvious vertical, is what we call Horeca, hotels, restaurants, and caterers. Okay, so that's our premium line. That's where we can look for the niche products and ask for better margin. Diba? And the third one is actually yung mga processors, food processors. Meron na kaming makakakilala. Alam niyo ba, meron parang, kailangan namin 3 tons ng sayote or 3 tons ng saluyot. May mga ganun, di ba? Tapos weekly siya. Weekly basis. And because the product is scarce, nakakapag-contract out kami, di ba? Ayan. So yun yung difference sa amin. And then the last one, and a particular focus for us, are feed millers. No, yung gumagawa ng feed sa livestock, no. This is where we get our tonnage. Kasi ang kailangan niyan would be rice bran, you have corn, you have soya, di ba? Although the soya is mostly imported, pero usually coco meal, no, or yung copra meal, no. So yung mga ganyan, so it keeps our business balance. No? And one more thing, Johnny, one thing that's interesting is we actually we encourage our cooperatives and associations to trade with one another. Meaning, kung halimbawa, may mga partners kami, kunyari from the Cordillera. Actually, meron kami partners sa Cordillera. Hindi kunwari. No? So, our partners in Cordillera would bring down their goods to the lowlands. Pabalik nila, what is scarce there is actually fertilizers. So, yun sa amin, so we have a cooperative in Batangas. They produce a lot of processed chicken manure. So, what they do is they actually backload that going up. So, in that sense, pababa, may kita sila. Pabalik, makapagbenta sila ng mga fertilizers that their farmers actually need, no? So in effect, when you become a member of Agro-Digital or become a partner, we can connect you to people who need your product, diba? Hindi na kailangan lumabas pa dun sa system, diba? Within our own network of partners, there's already consumption. So that's an additional market upfront, no? So yun, doon namin dinidistribute talaga yung mga
that's amazing. I mean actually for me it's like motivating or like encouraging trade. I mean parang nabibigay ng more kumbaga push kasi dati like for example, may mga middlemen pa, for example, yung mga itong mga institutional buyers bibili pa sa palengke sa kung saan man. Baka pwede pala ma-connect na mismo yung farmer or yung farm doon sa bibili para mas diretso, mas tama, mas akma yung price. And also, I'm not sure, baka mas pwedeng parang mas local yung pagbili, hindi na import, di ba? Kasi kung if you can find what you need from our local farmers, why look elsewhere, di ba?
Exactly, correct.
The quality, the right price, so why look elsewhere? So now, for example, baka may nakikinig na mga interested sa platform ni Agro-Digital. So, how really does it work? Baka iba ba yung sa farmer and yung sa buyer and parang what's in it? I mean, in your website kasi I also saw like in the farmer side parang may social organization, virtual
yes, that's right.
Parang can you give the picture lang how it works?
Sige. So how we start. So normally what we do is we work with communities who are ready to have that change, no? What do I mean? Kung ano sila sa current system. No? So, kanina na, let me just pick up a point earlier what you said. No? So, there's nothing wrong to have middlemen or intermediaries in the chain. Ang problema kasi sa Pilipinas, 10 sila in between. We don't need that many intermediaries, di ba?
Ang haba ng
Kasi,
chain.
exactly, humahaba unnecessarily. Kasi ang distributors and middlemen, niche function yan sa sistema. Pero
Yes.
kailangan mo lang dyan, isa o dalawa, maximum.
Yes.
The problem is, when we made a study, talagang 10 sila, 8 sila dun. No? In between. So talagang tumataas yun ng presyo. Diba? In any case, so, how do we onboard our membership for producers? So it's a matter of talking to people who are sick and tired of the existing system. They want to do something else. And we try to validate if they're ready. So hindi yung sistema kasi hindi para sa lahat. Meron kasi kami mga nakakausap. We talk to them about productivity, talk about digitalization at some point in time, or let's say treating their trade as a business. Hindi nagre-resonate. Ibig sabihin hindi nila nagigit. Kung bakit namin ito ginagawa. And for that, what we do is we put a bookmark in that community and say, maybe when they see more examples, then they are ready to follow. Diba? So for us, we take a look at the propensity to change ng community. Pag ready sila, exactly readiness. So we talk to them about paano nila tinapatakbo yung business nila. Diba? How clustering works, how we can aggregate, why it's better for them to talk to one another. Diba? Problema kasi sa farmer, minsan sabi limited yung demand, akin lang to. Not realizing when we show them the statistics, this is just so big. You don't need to actually elbow, diba, for the demand. So, yung mga ganun types of conversations. And then we build the enterprise with them. So, kung yung iba, sabi na, kailangan namin ng post-harvest facility. Then we work with the local government unit, we work with the DA, we work with the DTI, for instance, with other government. Kasi wala naman kaming pera di ba? We're also a startup with limited resources. But the thing is, in our ecosystem, in the agriculture ecosystem, there are people who are financing. So usually the problem of these smallholders, hindi sila marunong gumawa ng proposal. So sometimes it's a matter of saying, ito yung proposal so that they can get the necessary intervention. And yun yung and it's, like I said earlier at the start, it's a long winding road, di ba? And it really requires dapat talagang yung farmers and yung fishers, talagang decidido sila magbago. Di ba? Pagka ayos namin yun, saka pa lang namin siya on-board sa digital system. Kasi it doesn't make sense naman na ibigay mo ka yung digital. Wala pa yung enterprise. Di ba? And that's how long it is, di ba? So just to share with you. Sa sa customer side naman, it's a matter of just telling them how they're helping out. Mas mas mabilis naman makaintindi yung institutional buyers na parang, ito yung gagawin natin. Diba? This is where we'll help. No? And in fact, we showed the institutional buyers where they're sourcing their goods. So they know their farmers. May traceability. Yes. Diba? Hindi namin tatago. Hindi kami middleman. Actually, in fact, what sometimes for some of our partners, pag nagkakaayos na sila, pinababayaan na lang namin sila, diba? Just use the platform. We actually, we have a bit of a fee, a commission on the sales done on the platform. Pero sila nang bahala, kayo na yung dyan, diba? Kasi for us, we have limited resources. We have to evangelize, diba? We have to share the good news that there's digital and this is how we can actually we can do business better. Kasi, tag dito, sa iba naman, diba? Maraming communities na nangangailangan ng tulong, Diba?
Yeah, it's actually amazing. Ang ganda ng sabi mo na parang hindi kayo middleman. Actually, that's true. You're a trade. I mean, not a trade platform. Parang it's a digital platform na mabebenta agad ng farmer yung kanyang produce sa kung sino man gustong bumili. Pero like in the screen of the farmer, parang what does he see? I mean, makikita ba niya yung mga bibili, yung current price, magre-recommend ba sa kanya ng itatanim? May ganun bang aspeto dito?
Okay, sige. So kami we're very hands-on. We're very intimate with our communities. So usually tanong, sir, kayo ba mag-determine ng price? Una kong tanong sa kanila, alam niyo ba kung ano yung cost to produce ninyo? 'Di ba? Kasi yun yung hindi nila alam. Kasi kasi nga wala silang power to put their prices. They cannot dictate price, yeah. They say a market will dictate the price. Ang sa akin,
that market actually is parang sa middleman nagagaling. I mean like in the long chain yung middleman yung nagpe-pressure. Is that right?
Not all middlemen, pero merong mga market makers. So halimbawa, meron kang bagsakan. Yung bagsakan,
Yeah.
So you have an example. So may bagsakan ka na dun talaga bumabagsak yung lahat ng mga goods, diba? Normally there's a market maker there that does a forecast of how much goods he thinks will come, diba? Kasi para sabihin niya, tingin ko 10 tons ang darating. So ito yung presyo. Pag sabing, 2 tons ang dumating, i-akit ko yung presyo kasi merong scarcity. Di
Supply
ba?
naman.
So meron namang konting science yun, di ba? Pero syempre, a lot of these things, because there are no digital data point, obviously, much of these are guesses, di ba? Or text messages na parang may parating, etc. Di ba? So oo, di ba? Yun yung nangyayari. And doon sila nagde-determine ng price. Di ba? So it's actually their horizon of what they think will come, and that's the basis of their pricing. And kung wala kang digital system to do that, and by the way, we do have a digital system for that as well. No, for bagsakans, we do have a digital system to help out those market makers come up with decisions kung ano ba talaga yung dapat na pricing based on a forecast, no, of goods that will come.
Yeah, of course, maganda pa rin syempre na hindi lang yung foresight mo ay parang within the next week or the next month. Maganda kung may historical ng demand kasi mas maganda yung forecast mo, kumbaga, especially considering yung mga seasonalities, yung mga trends, pataas ba in a certain place, yung seasons, yung months. Amazing.
That's right.
And maganda lagi syempre backed with good data. I mean, I think that's one thing that you do.
Yeah. Of course, hindi naman 100% yung analytics, no? But the thing is, yung makatulad yan. So sometimes we go for bids kasi may mga clients kami. So we also have to compete, no? Kasi it's a free market, we also have to compete. So sometimes titingnan namin, ano ba yung naging presyo the past 2 years? Then we have that analytics, ito, ganito, di ba? Pero syempre, we have to also consider ano ba yung mga weather patterns, di ba? There's a lot of factors, di ba? But at least from a historical standpoint, we can have directionals, diba? In terms of, ito yun, tataas ng presyo. Ito yung pricing natin, etc.
Yeah, this is very interesting, But is this for the entire Philippines? Or doing this for the entire Philippines? Or in clusters ba rin yung parang...
okay. Sige. Yeah. It's still by, it's still by clusters, definitely. Kasi dapat may community kami. It's a barangay, usually, or, a group of associations and cooperatives. But in the Philippines, so you ask if it's Philippines. Currently, we are in Luzon and Visayas. So for Luzon, we have about 19 points of presence. So 19 points of presence across Region 1, Region 1, 3, and 4A. No, yun yung aming sources of goods for mostly Metro Manila, but we also develop regional markets. No, so example, yung highlands ng Cordillera, binababa namin sa Pangasinan or sa La Union. Pangasinan will have its fish and lowland produce dadalhin sa La Union, Cordillera. Kasi hindi naman lahat ng consumption nasa Metro Manila. Diba? We have to also give importance to these regional markets because that's where most of the growth will come. Diba? Nandyan yung potential for growth And ang karamihan walang pumapansin sa mga ganyan.
At saka ang maganda, kumbaga nasa video tayo Kung ito yung Cordillera, point A, then ito yung Pangasinan, point B. Hindi na pupunta ng A to C and C to B. Pwede na mag A to B diretso, So,
pwede mag-diretso, oo. That's
optimize
right.
nga yung trade, kumbaga.
and exactly, and it's about 2 to 3 hours away from each other. Of course, Pangasinan is a big province, Pero for the most part, it's about a 2-hour drive. It's so easy, di ba? At saka La Union provides the consumption. Sa La Union naman kasi actually it's more of a trading province. So for them, they're really a funnel for they're a siphon for consumption. And that's actually good for our partners in Cordillera and Pangasinan. And then apart from Luzon, we're also in the Visayas. So we're working with the likes of USAID and Fishrite for fishers naman. So there's a couple of stations for us in Panay and then Negros. So ayan, so slowly we're expanding our horizons as well. Hopefully we get to be in Mindanao as well. We're talking to some partners, Importante kasi talaga meron kang local partner It's not as if we're setting up office there, but at least we have, cooperatives who are more progressive and would understand that this is the way to go.
Yeah, it's really awesome actually. First of all, ang ganda ng pag-dissect ng problema. Kasi, I mean, in an outsider perspective, ang hirap i-solve ng problema ng agrikultura kung hindi mo alam yung problema i-solve mo. Pero by the way you explain it, I think that's very nice or at least you're kumbaga solving a particular problem and yung solution ay talagang nakatuon doon. I mean, digitalization, solving the market problem.
Yeah. So I guess it also helps kasi by trade, I was
I actually that's my next question. I wanted to know how you
oo.
found out about this problem.
Okay, so ayun, so sorry, I read the no, read the question. So by trade, I'm actually an IT person. So I actually was a multinational for almost, well, actually, I've been with IT for almost 26, 27 years, no? So, and I retired just before the pandemic hit, no?
Oh.
So, oo. Pero having said that, I was engaged, no? So even if I'm in IT, I run a farm actually in Batangas since
Ah,
2009, no?
wow.
So I'm actually a farmer and I'm one of them. So I'm
Mm.
also a smallholder. So nakita ko talaga yung
What do you
problema.
produce in your farm?
So it's actually an organic farm. So we actually produce eggs, no? Free
Oh.
ranging eggs, free ranging chickens for broilers, no, as for dressed chicken. We also have native swine. And then of course we have vegetables kasi nga dapat loop yan. It's a circular economy so to speak. So dapat merong tawag dito. That's how you become organic. And that's basically the experience, no? Since 2009 I've been in agriculture, no? In 2016, 2017, sabi ko parang dapat may magbago sa sistema. Otherwise, in perpetuity, di ba? In fact, ito yung parating sinasabi when I talk to farmers, di ba? Alam mo, the way that we actually trade or sell goods has been the same since the time of Rizal. Parehas
Actually,
lang eh.
actually yung clusters
Oh,
ano, tsaka yung pag-assign ng pag
oo.
dito sa lugar na to, ito itatanim mo. Kahit hindi naman perfect na yun, yung perfect for the land,
Mm,
perfect for the
mm,
place, for the neighborhood kumbaga.
oo. Oo, so pag mga gano'n parang okay. Sometimes it becomes random, some of them they listen kung ano, 'di ba?
Mm.
But really the idea is to consolidate from so sabi mo kung dapat nationwide, I think there has to be some level of governance in the way that we produce things, 'di ba? Kaya minsan, sobrang dami nagkamatis. Walang 'di
Yeah.
ba? Yan parati actually pansinin niyo taon-taon may rescue buy, 'di ba?
Mm.
Taon-taon may sabi, kasi sobrang kamatis, 'di ba? Well, we can avert that by planning things, 'di ba? Pero siyempre
Yeah.
kailangan may makinig na farmer, 'di ba? Sabihin ko, madali sabihin mag-plan. Pero at the end of the day, the farmer has the decision whether or not they want to plant a particular crop, 'di ba? At least yung mga nasa platform namin nakikinig. Kasi minsan sasabihin namin, parang ang dami niyo nagtanim ng pepino. Mag-delay kayo o isipin niyo. So we also give that advice by the way. Kasi for us, we actually have resiliency in our platform. What do you say about resiliency? So we know of the demand kasi 'di ba tina-track namin yung demand. Sinasabihan namin yung farmers namin kung sobra na yung production sa sistema o
Yes,
hindi.
yes, yes.
Or may kulang. So pag
Mm.
may kulang, sasabihin namin baka gusto niyo kaya niyo itong ganitong klaseng we take an additional 1 ton or 2 tons over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So yun yung benefit nila working with us, no? We can verbalize what the market needs.
Ang tawag actually doon, bullwhip effect. I mean, sort of like that. Na kumbaga, in the past, dahil kulang ng kamatis, for example, lahat naman ng farm ay magtatanim ng kamatis.
Exactly.
Sobrang dami naman ng kamatis. So, kumbaga dahil sa
Exactly.
imbalance talaga, no, in time and in
Mm.
place ng supply and demand.
Mm. Mm.
Can we
That's
know
right.
lang, Henry, about the team? Na parang kumbaga as a startup naman, no? I mean, you started by yourself you have a farm in Batangas. Then how did kumbaga the team grow? How did you build the team? Can you know more
Okay.
about it?
Yeah, okay. So most of the people actually know me as the founder of Agro-Digital. In fact, actually meron akong isang partner. Dalawa kami actually. I have a co-founder named Ken Molina. So he works on the background and he's really the tech guy. Although I'm a tech guy as well. Pero siya yung nag-implement talaga ng digital platform namin. No? So we started off as two individuals with a dream, 'di ba? Tapos unti-unti, no. So we built a tech team that's maybe about 5-6 people, no? And then from there, we do have community developers as well, whom we work with. But for the most part, yung community developers namin are members of cooperatives as well. So sila na
Ah,
mismo. So
in the
sometimes
LGU,
we just train them
in the place
in
mismo.
they can be extension workers, 'di ba? Within the LGU or sometimes cooperatives themselves, meron silang vina-volunteer ng mga tao. So that's actually the way that we could actually expand exponentially. Hindi lang kami yung merong tao. So what we do is we have the knowledge capital, which we say, okay, this is how things to be done. And then fortunately for us, there are people who listen. Yun yung sekreto, may nakikinig at naniniwala, no, sa ginagawa namin. So, yun yung exponential thing, no? Na kahit kami, we're just ilang man tao kami. Actually, konti lang kami. We're just a few people, no? We're just a few people. marami nakikinig. Kasi nakikita naman nila yung benefit eh. When finally when the money flows, then all of a sudden they have a lot of believers. So it's not just all talk.
Actually, ang ganda ng org structure na yun, na parang because you have a digital platform na the platform will work by itself eh. So ang kailangan basically yung founders, co-founders, and yung kumbaga yung tech guy, and the community, what do you call them? Sorry, the community organizers, the community
developers.
Sila yung kumbaga nasa may communities mismo na kumbaga magko-coordinate.
Exactly. This is so, and that's heavy lifting yung hindi madali yun sa community developers, no.
Yes,
kaya yung ini-engage namin, these are the people who really do the heavy lifting, no. They have an appreciation of the technology, they have an appreciation of why they need to build an enterprise for their community, no. So I mean, these are their heroes talaga kasi digital is actually madali lang ang digital eh, di ba? It's technology, di ba? Ang mahirap talaga is actually getting people to adopt the tech.
Actually.
Yun yung challenge. Yun ang challenge. Diba? And unfortunately for us, hindi siya katulad ng retail. Diba? Hindi siya katulad ng retail eh. A lot of people are familiar with the usual, shopping platforms. Hindi yun kailangan ng detailed na parang training program. Sa agri, sobrang detalye yan kasi talagang wala namang marunong mag-digital sa agri eh. Diba? You talk to a farmer about digital, tatawanan ka lang niya. Diba? Para sa akin yan, ang tanda ko na nagfa-farming ako, kumikita ako, anin ko yung digital mo. Diba? So you actually have to really condition these people na, kumikita kaya nga, pero diba, you can do more. And some of them, okay lang yun if I don't do more. Diba? May mga ganun eh, parang okay na ako where I am. And so for some, they say, yes, okay, makikinig ako, gusto ko pa. And that's for the communities that partner with that.
Pero come to think of it, it's really weird kasi, I mean, you mentioned sa retail kasi yung mga usual na customers ay marunong na ng digital. Pero like, there's no barrier naman supposedly for our Filipino farmers to go digital. I mean, in another world, di ba, baka ang mga farmers ay very digital. I mean, can use all of the tech. I mean, we should also, kumbaga, go then to that world, to that perspective na why not? So maybe it's generational, it's a generational problem, and we just go with it, and then
Oh, actually, pero I agree with you. It's a generational thing. The older farmers they just don't want to do digital anymore. Sarado na yung nila, parang malabo yan, wala akong smartphone. Okay, fine. The thing is, the next generation, okay, your generation, I'm an older guy, so okay. But the next generation has to appreciate what farming and what agriculture is.
Yes.
Diba? Para madala nila yung know-how on digital. Kasi if they don't believe in agri, nasa ibang industry yan. Wala yan sa food production. Diba? So, okay, we encourage the youth to take up, digital, for one. Actually, digital natives na nga sila, diba? But you have to practice it in agri. So that's where the challenge is. Kung wala tayong ma-encourage na youth to go into agriculture, we'll be importing everything. We are importing a lot. No? Diba? Anyway.
Hindi ka dapat
more so.
Sa sarili. I mean.
Well, oo, but that's another complex problem. Diba? Pero ayun, so it's really that. It's really an appreciation of what agriculture can do for this country. Diba?
Yeah, I mean, it's not what agriculture can do. Agriculture is a very important, I think, because it's the base of everything. I mean, doon nanggagaling lahat ng lahat.
Well, last I checked, everybody has to eat, diba? And you're right, diba? So agriculture is so basic. It's a foundational industry, diba? You cannot expect to grow technologically if, let's say, people are hungry. I mean, I'll just give you an example. If school children are hungry, they don't perform well in exams, or nor can they actually absorb learnings on an empty stomach. So, I mean, tingnan mo lang, diba, sa mga bata. So, anong kailangan mong gawin? You need to actually bring the prices of food down so everyone can afford it.
Yes.
No? That's basic. Yun, foundational nation building yan. Bigyan mo ng pagkain ng bata para matuto. Diba?
Yes.
Pero syempre, that's another problem as well, di ba? So anyway, kaya talaga, di ba? But everything actually revolves around agriculture and food.
Yeah, at saka like, for example, in industrialization, I mean, kaya medyo nahuhuli ang Pilipinas kasi late tayo na pag-industrialize kasi late din yung, kumbaga, yung development ng ating agricultural sector. Kaya medyo lugi tayo sa mga exports. I mean, nakuha to ng mga, like, for example, South Korea, Japan, for example, because they have raw materials that they can build for to other things, and they can export and they can sell. So
Yeah.
I think for me, kaya rin mahalaga sa agriculture kasi doon magsisimula yung kumbaga industrialization and kumbaga exporting. Parang
Oo,
hindi tayo import ng
actually,
import.
it's basic eh.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
yeah.
basic, really. Talaga, I mean, it's really food. Food
So sa
drives
mga
nations
nakikinig
and
nito, I hope
diba?
you turn to agriculture or at least consider kumbaga tech and agriculture,
Mm-mm.
agri-tech.
Yeah, agri-tech. And make it basic lang muna, di ba? Let's not go for fancy things, di ba?
Yeah, yeah.
Kasi ang dami, dili, may AI in ganyan. Sige, okay lang yun, pero
Yeah.
kailangan i-digitize mo muna yung farmer. Di ba? In fact, we don't have the analytics because we have all of our data points are manual, di ba? Or it's spoken lang, verbal lang siya. Di ba?
Yeah. What's your drive, Henry? Ayan. Kumbaga, I mean, medyo obvious naman na you really want to solve the problem. Pero can you just kumbaga
Mm.
share to us what really keeps you going on? I mean, nakakapagod, I mean for sure na doing all of this, building all of this, talking to possible adapters. Pero what keeps you going? Can we just know that? I mean, the inspiration.
I guess I'm crazy enough to think that I can move mountains, di ba? Ganun na lang naman yun eh. No, actually, I saw the problem. I saw the problem with my very eyes when I am still a farmer. And as a farmer, I see where the problems lie. Diba? And it's really making an impact in terms of the lives of these farmers, diba? At saka hindi lang farmers, even the families that they have, diba? Napaka-basic nung need eh. Food is a very basic need. And if people do not have access to cheap food, diba? Sorry, I won't say cheap. If they don't have affordable food, no? Kasi pag sabing cheap, meron nag-subsidize niyan eh, when you say cheap. If you say it's affordable, then anybody can just buy and for their purpose and therefore for their requirements, for their needs, diba? And if you look at that backdrop now, sometimes if you take a look at the farmers that we've actually helped, sobrang siyang satisfying. Seriously. No, from nothing, then they have something. And then it's consistent, no? Kung napayaman mo yung farmer and, diba? At least yaman is relative, but if you've been able to actually help them earn money so they can send their kids to school or, diba, hindi na sila nagugutom. They eat 3 square meals a day. Those things and then may nagpapasalamat sa'yo, salamat at ganito. Alam mo, malaking encouragement yon. Apart from the fact that I really, really, really believe there's a lot of money in agri. Bukod doon. Syempre, di ba? Kasi, alam mo talagang maraming pera sa agri. And that's that's something na hindi naiisip ng maraming tao. Kaya lang, kailangan mo lang talaga yung i-organize. I mean, kailangan ng effort para ma-realize where the funds and where the money is. Diba? And it's not just trading. Okay? I mean, that's the most obvious kasi. Trading. Diba?
Yeah.
There's a lot more of ways to actually earn in agriculture.
Yeah, actually, it's true. I mean, we discussed a certain problem, pero I think marami pang problemang maaaring kumbaga dito sa buong agricultural sector. Actually,
Yeah.
so do you think there should be more like agri-tech startups, like solving different problems of the agricultural sector?
Oh yeah, I mean, but they have to stop doing trading platforms.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Actually, ibang aspeto naman.
Ibang aspeto naman ng problema. And yung iba kasi, gawin natin drone, gawin natin IoT, 'di ba? Okay yan, pero ganun ba kalaki yung lupa ng farmer?
Yes,
'Di ba?
actually.
So, these technologies have a lot of bearing when you talk about hectares upon hundreds and thousands of hectares. Kasi 'di ba, it actually manages the volume of labor that's needed, yung coordination work that's actually required. That's where you look at the technology. Pero sabi mo, hindi kasi gusto ko ng IoT para sa isang 500 square meters. I mean, the thing is, you take a look at the business sense of it, di ba? So, I mean, for people who think they want to do an agri-tech, go take a look at something that's more impactful. And it's actually makes sense financially. Kasi pag sabi mo, yan, technology, hindi pwedeng dahil sexy siya, yun ang gagawin natin, di ba? Kailangan, sexy siya dahil mapapamura mo yung pagkain. Di ba? That has an impact. So, I mean, it's more complex that way. Pero, ang sa akin, just be practical about it. There's a need.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Actually, what you said is actually very gold. I mean, maraming startups ang lalo na ngayon, yung mga medyo youthful startups, medyo nakakaligtaan yung advice din. That's true. That's very true.
I mean, tingnan mo kung may bibili. Di ba? Kasi kung walang bibili doon sa product mo or the service that you try to push, it doesn't make sense. Hobby lang siya. Diba? That's a hobby. Now, the thing is, if people start demanding oh yeah, actually it actually makes sense and it makes my life easier. Or I earn more money, diba? Or I can expand my working areas. And those are the solutions that we're looking for. Diba? Mas malaking impact niyan sa
Impact.
agri.
Impact
Yeah.
is the new sexy. Wow.
Oh
Let's
yeah. Oo. Impact, diba? Oo.
Ay, let's end with that. Let's end with that. So maraming salamat, Henry. This is a really, really wonderful conversation.
All right.
Ako personally, ang dami ko na-realize, ang dami ko natutunan, and I hope our listeners
Yeah.
actually can also like reflect on this and think about everything and
Yeah.
everything that we've talked about. Ang ganda actually ng ating usapan, Henry. So if
Yeah.
our listeners just want to know more about Agro-Digital PH, maybe baka may nakikinig na smallholder farmer or baka buyer, possible buyer. So how, or maybe just anyone who wants to work with you. So how can they know more about you, about Agro-Digital PH? So how can they find more information?
Oh, we're on social media, primarily Facebook. And then yeah, just search Agro-Digital PH. You'll end up in our website and then drop us a note, no? Yeah, very welcome to answer questions if you're a startup. Gusto nyong mag-validate ng problem. I have a lot of opinions. And it's free. Yeah,
Wow.
we'd be happy
Thank you
to
for
help
that.
out as well. Yeah, and then if you're a cooperative and association, you're interested in doing digital or at least try to validate if your business model actually makes sense, diba? Yeah, please do ping us. We're mostly in Luzon, pero very open to actually expand in the Visayas and Mindanao.
Yeah, thank you very much, Henry. Maraming salamat for this conversation.
Sure.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
appreciate it as well, Jari. Thank you for the opportunity to share.
Thank you very much to our 32 patrons. This episode is super powered by TechShake, Asia's most active Philippine-based startup ecosystem builder creating bridges with investors, corporations, and governments. 1 CFO, tech-enabled CFO, bookkeeping, and tax services for startups and SMEs. Take 5 Outdoors, the best guided outdoor adventure tour in the Philippines. They specialize in hiking and mountaineering trips. Benjoy's Food Products, the home of premium bacon ends, tapa, and tocino. D-Buzz, Web3 microblogging app promoting freedom of speech and content ownership. Pinoy IP Works, capture your startup's value proposition through patent and trademark protection. Packetworks, the leading enabler and only Internet of Things social enterprise in the Philippines. Looking for buy and sell online with Sigurado sellers. And NutriCoach, the all-in-one productivity tool for dietitians and nutritionists. This episode is powered by Pareto Consulting, AltSwitch, ePlayment, Tuala, and Hive Energy PH. AskLex PH Academy is our official e-learning partner. Get certifications on Lean Six Sigma, project management, data science, and many more. Support the podcast through the links in the description.